Hey, I'm Anthony from Freedom Factory, the builders of EthOS and the DGen 1. Today we're talking to Ian from Push, a decentralized on-chain notifications protocol. We're going to find out what Push is, what makes it different as a communication service, and why that matters. This is Apps Unchained. I heard of Push like a while ago. I guess I heard back when you guys were Ethereum push notification service. We were thinking about using you guys back in the day for our previous devices. But I also just wanted to hear the story of like how Push got started and why you guys rebranded from EPNS to Push now.
Yeah, pretty simple but impactful. So Push started all the way back in 2020 in ETH Global Money Hack. Very humble beginnings, harsh and small team, just got it started, just at a hackathon like that. Barely any coin to speak of, just trying to make an impact with something new.
Yeah.
And from there, it went onward to support from Gitcoin and other cool people to help it to scale. But the reason it began as EPNS was because it began as purely for the EVM, purely for real-time on-chain communications for the EVM. We mainly rebranded to Push because we have and have always had since roughly the past 2 years the greater vision of being for everyone, not just the EVM. So then EPNS didn't really fit anymore because we needed to work towards the greater vision of being real time on chain communications in every possible use case for everyone. And that means every chain too.
Yeah, that makes sense. What is like, I think the sort of branding that you guys have of Push now is like the communication protocol of Web3. What does that mean to you guys? Like, how does that fit in?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. It just means to us the go to place for all communications in Web3. In other words, no matter what chain you are, no matter what DApp you are, or otherwise, you can use Push to have customizable messaging channels, customizable notifications, or otherwise anything with real time communications on chain. So to us, it means we're the set of rules, we're the standard that everyone uses for any sort of communications related instance in the industry, and then stretching beyond the industry, aka any instance that connects a Web3 product to somewhere beyond the industry eventually.
Okay. How does that like actually work practically? I'm not sure that I've actually used the protocol before. And like on our devices, right, we'll have just like mobile device notifications, just like you would on any other phone notifications that pop up that you can click or swipe away. But I guess if you're saying that you guys are the notifications of Web3 on chain dApps and stuff like this, do those pop up like in your wallet or like within the dApp? What like how do users actually get these notifications?
Great question. Essentially threefold. So you mentioned two of the ways. It can be wallet to wallet, just in your wallet. It can be in a DApp or on a crypto site, so to speak, with customizable notifications. Like, for example, if you're a trader on a specific DEX with a specific type of or level of margin on a certain asset, it can be customizable margin calls while you're clicking around on the DEX site. But thirdly, of course, you can also use the current push DApp and create channels there and have all sorts of groups there, including token gated chats that scale further than WhatsApp or any legacy apps in terms of how many people messaging they can support.
Okay, that makes sense. So you have like the dApp side of things where like you can create your own notifications and then apps could actually use you guys via an API or something and create
Correct.
notifications
We
for
do have
their.
open APIs and we do have like fully open source code. And on top of that, our approach to helping teams figure out what instance is best or how exactly they should or could integrate push is very white label, meaning, as you know, having worked with us, we literally like start the chat on Telegram or something like that, and we drop a bunch of our team into the chat, and you have like your personalized push people to help you with the instance, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think just for our device being a just background for you also, like since we've been building this thing for a couple of years, um, we've also struggled with like just getting on-chain notifications to happen on a device that's sort of more permissioned by Google. And in the mobile market, it's just like Apple and Google rule, they have that monopoly over basically all mobile devices. So I think something like this, at least for on-chain notifications in your own mobile DApp, would be really useful for a crypto first device. Um, but even integrating on like a deeper layer, how our wallet is sort of on the OS layer and can integrate with any app, I think that's definitely something we should explore. Sort of.
No, we want to. To be clear, even live on this podcast that we're doing right now, I want to confirm that we want the same with ETHOS. We think we can actually be that go-to solution for you to make sure those communications happen at all times.
Definitely, that'll be super huge for all of our user. That's great. Yeah, I guess also wanted to ask, like, what do you feel like the on-chain app economy vibe is right now? I don't know if you went to DevCon or if any of the guys went to DevCon, but I feel like there's a big focus on how apps should be pushing forward. There's so much infra, um, but you guys are sort of that infra side, but you've been around for a long time. I think the focus probably needs to shift to apps a little bit more and ones that are useful. And so, what do you feel like right now is going on in the ecosystem, and what does it need?
Great question. Yeah, we tend to agree. First of all, we had a bunch of us attend DevCon. That's the same sussing out of the situation we have. And furthermore, we're actually strategically doubling down on our apps related focus next year. A lot's going to come out about that. But one thing I can mention is look at the greater vision of push just publicly on the roadmap right now. When you see that we're launching native nodes and stuff like that, that's public already, you can see
Mm-hmm.
how, like, well, they're going to have to focus more on apps in certain ways to do things like that to scale any sort of node architecture. So definitely that. And to add a little more context to what I mean, our grants program, of course, has been more infra focused up until the end of this year because we're scaling integrations with our infrastructure, so to speak, integrations with our protocol above all else. But next year will be the beginning of the age of what you could call push apps, all sorts of instances with the protocol where people apply to our grants program to launch cool things that leverage our ability to enable real-time communications. So there's lots of ways we could go with that. Think about the future of social media using the same basic core capabilities, the same uh, basic building blocks that the push protocol has, or think about even the future of gaming like that. Real time communication stretches across a whole lot of cool areas for DApp builders. And yeah, us and our partners, we all agree. We got to double down on dApps. Now is the time. Now is the year coming up.
Definitely. Yeah, that's huge for us too. I mean, in our device world, like just how the iPhone released their app store a little after they actually released the iPhone, like we don't want to be the ones to create all the apps on the device. We don't want to be like the builders of every cool app that people want to use because that's just so much maintenance and upkeep. We already have a lot of stuff to do on our side to make this crypto OS compatible with all of Web3 and all of Onchain. So apps like yours, and I think apps that will bring the next billion users on chain are super useful, and the ones that are going to like apps that like people don't even know they're using crypto. I know we all say that like eventually it needs to be abstracted away, but I think our device has a good shot at doing that in the mobile space. Um, you have any
We think
other
so
thoughts
too.
on? Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any other thoughts on like the DGen one and crypto on mobile? I don't know how much you've seen about our launch, but like expanding to this new market in total of mobile devices, I think is a huge new opportunity that hasn't really been explored since it's sort of been blocked. I think it's just a huge new, you know, market for crypto in general.
No, first of all, it is. Couldn't agree more. And following that, it's a very natural move for us to get more involved in that area, considering what push protocol is at its core and where we come from and what our greater aims are. Push notifications are what keep people engaged in their favorite applications on their phones. So we're going to have to double down on mobile at some point, and why not start with ETHOS and start with what we'd call the flagship of the crypto mobile operating system. Yes, other attempts have been made, but they haven't scaled as of yet. And given where we come from, that we stem from the Ethereum community and that ethos, this makes the most sense for us.
Definitely. Well, cool. Do you have any other like roadmap stuff you want to share about push?
Sure.
Um, anything
I
coming up?
mentioned I mentioned push nodes, so a lot more information will come out the closer to that date of the full launch about uh, how the nodes will work, how to get them, all that stuff. But that's exciting for us, evolving beyond purely a protocol that's a set of smart contracts to something greater. Uh, on top of that, where we can announce, because of course this is still very popular, that we'll be supporting more non-EVM chains, and of course, because as I said, we're not just EVM anymore, we're for everyone. In that vein, Solana should be connected to push, so to speak, by February or before. So that's a cool announcement. And
Nice.
then on top of all that, like I said, we're launching our new grants program for 2025 already. So anybody that's thinking of any sort of instance with any sort of DApp that could really do well with real-time on-chain communications, or that could really stand to benefit from that kind of capability, that kind of connection with us, contact me, contact the DAO about getting into the grants program early.
Sweet. That all sounds good. Well, thanks again for coming on and discussing a little bit. Happy to have you guys on the App Store and happy to feature you guys and looking forward to having you on the device in spring.
Same here. Let me throw in a final thought. We're pumped
Yeah,
for ETHOS. We're pumped for the full launch, and let's engineer the next stage of mobile together. We only win together. Let's build up the partner base. Let's get ETHOS to new heights.
let's do it. Awesome. Thanks, Ian. Catch ya.
Thanks.